started. Thank you for joining our webinar. This webinar is by FluentPro, and today we'll talk again this year about the Microsoft Project Online Backup and Restore, and we'll show what are the best practices based on our experience working with customers and supporting customers. What is the best approaches for backup, and as well the new functionality and new reporting that we provide for customers that you can that how you can manage backups and see more details with our reports in FluentPro G Suite. My name is Anton Kravtsov, and today I will do non-presentational part of the non-demo part of this presentation. We will have a demo of G Suite and the reporting package. Demo will be done by Gennady. He's our solution consultant, and he will show all the details. FluentPro software is ISV. We develop products for Microsoft PPM platform. We do migration tools. We do data mart solutions. We do integration solutions, all around the Microsoft PPM stack, and we help companies to get more from Microsoft PPM platform. You can find more details on our website, fluentpro.com, and search for products. We have a number of different products. So if you talk about the backup, our solution called FluentPro G Suite, and FluentPro G Suite, it's more than just a solution for backup and recovery. In fact, we call it the governance administration suite, and backup and restore functionality is just one of the components. One platform provides functionality around change management, administration, cloning of PWAs, creating development environment, testing environment, migrating training environment, migrating change from development environment to production, documenting environment. So it's a complete suite of features and functionality available in one product that simplifies the general management and administration of Microsoft Project Online. And you can manage multiple PWAs, and this again, like this part of our webinar today, will focus on disaster recovery, backup, and restore. We will answer why, how, and what to do around backup and restore, and what are the best practices to organize the process. We worked with a number of customers, and over the life of FluentPro, we helped maybe 1,000 companies to migrate, work with PWA, implement, integrate solutions. And when we talk to companies, is we found that companies very often they underestimate the impact of data loss. Imagine on large project that schedule is corrupted. You get you lost 1 month of change to your schedule. And it's okay if the projects are small, but if the project has several thousand tasks and hundreds of resources assigned to project, it's a complete disaster and will require significant time to rebuild this project. In most cases, what we found is that the problem when we talk to customers who use restore, and often it's a human error, and someone made a change, and since in Project Online many changes are cascading, tasks are linked. For example, someone just went and deleted a milestone, changed the date, and that might trigger change to entire schedule. And very often it's majority of cases it's a human error. It's related to just one single project. Very often it's related to one task or several tasks or just small group of tasks. But it's still such errors they result in complete mess in projects. Microsoft provides functionality to restore, but Microsoft provides functionality around they really focus on disaster recovery. When something happened with your entire PWA, it became corrupted or multiple projects become affected. And the only way they can do it, they do it on the site collection, or they can do it on the entire PWA. It means that if you if your PW has thousands of projects or hundreds of projects, uh, they can roll back, for example, to one day, to the yesterday, a day before yesterday. But it means that hundreds of project managers will have to go and update their project. Microsoft doesn't provide this singular project recovery, and with Microsoft, what we experience is that there is a wait period for restoration. It takes engineers to get it and then to time to restore and verify and everything. So we faced with this problem several times. Our own experience was quite on the wide range of it took some significant time to restore, and it was a complete override. Sometimes that's okay, but for running business and when the PWA is at the core of your operation, sometimes that's a you can't go this route. Very often, some of the errors can be rebuilt manually, and you don't have to kind of like to restore the entire project. Very often, what you need to do is like you need to have a reference copy where you can go to a project, open it in the separate Microsoft project, and just find the problem, what caused it as a problem. And same time, having those local copies of the files, it's a nightmare because again, like we rely on this. If we use this approach, we rely on human, and someone can be overloaded. It will be too much work. You forget to make a backup. Maybe you start doing that daily, but then you will go to weekly or monthly. And it's hard to manage that information locally and organize it. So what we for that's all kind of like to lead that companies really need a solution that will provide them ability to back up their PWAs and do a restore of projects and SharePoint data on demand when they need it if anything happened or file is corrupted or they simply decided that they need to roll back some change and go to the previous version. If we go to how this needs to be done is our solution supports multiple schedules that you can configure for your PWA. Those backup schedules, and you can use filters, you can use views, and we recommend that companies create a schedule that will guarantee high chances of significantly high chance of recovery. First of all, we recommend to have a monthly backup of entire PWA. We understand that in your PWA you might have very old projects. Again, like recommendation to at least take, you can schedule, for example, all the projects modified during the last 12 months. You don't have to download everything, but you need to have a copy if disaster, let's say that the great 10 happens, that you have those copies and you can restore it to another PWA, you provision your PWA, and you have the full set of the data, at least one. Then we recommend to do that monthly, so you have the as fresh as possible version. But again, like you can do entire PWA or major part of the PWA that's important, that you might need to use for running your reports. Second setup that we recommend is to schedule a weekly automatic backup for project in progress, simply the projects that are not completed, and you can use that criteria. In most cases, the majority of the project uh, will get to this subset is the projects that are in progress, and daily you can create a backup for modified projects, for all the projects modified during, for example, today. This way you will have pretty much coverage, so you have a full snapshots of your PWA, you have weekly updates for completed projects. Yes, you might, worst case scenario, you might lose 1 week of work, but hopefully with daily updates you have more frequent all the changes that you have. Second recommendations that we found, especially that make sense for companies who have thousands of projects or even hundreds of projects. And typical scenario that we see on the customers that you have total, let's say that you have 1500 projects in your PWA, but in reality 80% of those projects can be like 900 are projects from previous years. And you, in most cases when we talk to customers, okay, you have so many projects, why you keep them? Definitely customers answer is like, we need to know history, we need to understand where the customer projects, we need to be able to see details, find details, open the schedule, use as example if you need to copy that. One of the features that we have in PWA and we recommend to use customer is to archive old projects to a separate PWA. In Project Online, you can create right now the unlimited number of, let's say, $10,000. We can call it the limited number of PWAs. You can create archived PWAs, and using G Suite, you can transfer projects from your main production PWA to those PWAs. You can have all the different ways to organize those PWAs. It can be just one PWA where you store all this information. It could be this scenarios where companies do PWAs per year. So for every calendar year, they have PWAs and they backup projects over there after it's done, and only current calendar or fiscal year is kept in PW. So, but archival approach, it's a great way to remove the old noise from your PWA. Make sure that your projects are stored, that you have access to those projects if you need to, that all the artifacts like documents, your charters, everything related to project is stored somewhere, and it will never be lost. No one will go and delete it. And you can forward to that archival PWAs. You can give access just to a limited number of people. For example, just your admins and maybe to the head of PMO. Everyone else can be might have an access to the tool, but in the read-only mode, where all they can do is they just can see the information, but they cannot touch it. And for archival, we recommend to do that. For such scenarios, we recommend to do it once a month. It really doesn't make sense to make it more frequently. Some companies do it once a quarter. So if you have big number of project creating, you can do it once a month. But that's a great feature. First of all, you don't create that. You don't need that information doesn't change. So okay, having the copy is always great. And you pay less for backup because like you create less load. You don't need to back up all those projects and keep multiple version of it. So it's simply you pay less for the storage, for processing, for everything, and you have copies that you can use at any point of the time. So if you take on some on what to back up is we created some kind of like small table that definitely when deploying the solution, you can do archival or you can do a full initial backup. Then recommendation again, like you need to do all the projects that you have in your production on a monthly basis. That's a recommendation that you have a full snapshot. On weekly basis, you back up projects that are in progress or not complete, and on daily ones that were modified during the day. And again, like for SharePoint content, which is part of the project, is initial definitely do everything monthly do all the projects, and on weekly basis include the SharePoint content as well. We often see scenarios where companies need just to get to restore one document from 2 weeks ago. Someone went and deleted a file. Someone went and, for example, if the versioning was not turned on, someone went and overwritten the file so that you cannot get to that file. And that's a quite often scenario where companies need to get that information. So it's not just a project schedule. It's project schedule plus SharePoint site and all SharePoint content that is related to the file. So right now I will transfer control to Gennady, and Gennady will show the details. And will demonstrate the solution, and will demonstrate some reports that we developed.
Thank you, Anton. I'm going to share my screen. so that you can confirm once it's shared.
Yeah, we can see screen for the thank you.
Okay, great. So this is the G Suite interface. It has the environment diagram. As you can see, there are several environments in my diagram. In this demo, we are concentrating around the disaster recovery, the backup and recovery. And I will be mostly working with this middle instance, which is the PWA production. As Anton mentioned, you may have a separate instance, which is called archive. And also there can be a separate instance for change management, the test instance where you can develop your new changes and after that incorporate these changes into your production environment. So we support two kinds of backups, the manual backup and the scheduled backup. The manual is mainly for like checking what is included, what is supported, and then when you figure it out, you can go to the scheduled backup. So this is the manual backup where you can choose what do you want to include in the backup, the PWA configuration, everything or selected parts of the configuration. The project plans, there are 4 options. You can back up everything. You can back up the recently modified projects up to 1 week. You can build a pre-selected list of projects, so the most important ones that you have, and include them in the backup. Or there can be a dynamic option that's called the backup by view, where you create a project center view. You define your criteria on this view, what projects do you want to be included. Are these the active projects, the most important projects? So whatever condition that you can define on the PWA level works there, and G Suite will determine the list of projects from this view. It will get the list of projects, and then it will include all these projects in the backup. You can include the SharePoint content. So also there are some options. You can include everything. You can include the recently modified sites, also up to 1 week. You can build the selection so that it would be like backing up all this. The list of sites will be backed up every time, and you can do this the selection of the sites dynamically based on the projects that you've selected in the previous section. So whatever was selected in here, G Suite will determine what sites need to be included into the backup if you're going with the sites for selected projects. Also, you can back up your timesheets for your users. You have an email on completion, so you will receive a notification whenever the backup is finished on the success or on a failure, and you will get the details about the you will get the statistics about the backup that was finished on the PWA. What does it include? How many projects were included? How many sites were included? And what is the overall usage? As Anton mentioned, we support multiple schedules on the environment. So you can create the schedule for your configuration. You can create a schedule for your projects, for your sites, or for any combination of those. In order to create the schedule, you just need to provide its name, the type of the schedule, which is daily, weekly, or monthly, and you need to specify the time zone in which the backup occurs and the time. It's hourly selection in here as well. So the day of week and hourly selection and time zone. In monthly, days in the month, and time and time zone. The operation is backup, and the settings in the schedule backup are exactly the same as they were in the manual one. So this is no difference. Just the scheduler helps you to do your backups on a regular basis. You also receive the email notifications just as you would set up the manual backup, and you can check the backup status from the notifications. The latest feature that we have is the Power BI report, which is more attractive, more visual, and I'm going to show you in just a couple of minutes. So here, if I already have the backups and I want to restore something, I can see on the backup screen which is the complete list of backups that I have. Also, I can go, there is a link indicating on the projects that I have. I can open this link and see all the projects that I have, all the unique projects that I have in the backup, their initial location, and how many backups for each projects are available. So if I click on this link, it will load the list of backups with this specific project. And also there is a filter where I can check for the backup of the project or a backup of a site, and I can provide a part of the project name, and it will also load the list of backups that contain this site or this project. And from there I can go to choose the respective date when I want from which I want the backup to be restored and go to restore. Once I chose the backup, I can go inside and see the summary of this backup, when it was taken, what is the size of the backup, what's inside, so what is exactly contained in this backup, and I can go to the restore, and our restore is more granular than the backup. So in the backup, you select your configuration, your projects, your sites, and in restore, you can restore an individual. You can restore also the like the entity. You can restore the whole configuration, the individual entity, like this, or even an individual element within the entity, for example, an individual custom field. Of course, it's more important to be able to restore the projects, and we have this capability to restore the individual projects, so you're not bound to be restoring your whole PWA. And in the site data, you can also restore an individual site as well as the part of the site, which can be a document or a list or a library or a, an element in the list. And you will also receive a notification because the restore can be a rather lengthy process. And there are two additional options in the restore. One additional option is to override to delete the target sites before restoring. That option is important when you don't want the target content to be preserved, and you want a clean restore of the SharePoint site. The projects are overridden anyway, so this will influence the SharePoint component. The another useful option is to be able to restore to a different environment, because we do not recommend you to restore immediately to your production environment. There are some scenarios when you might discover that restoring to the other instance, if you have the test instance, that's great, and this test instance should have the same configuration, which is covered by the migration of configuration and data in G Suite, which is the change management. And there you can restore to the test environment and preview the restored version, or have the project managers to preview this restored version to confirm that it's actually good. And only once they confirm, you can restore that to production environment, because they might have another option. They might see that the restored version is good enough in terms of the integrity. It has the remove tasks, but it doesn't have some very recent tasks that still they are still available in the current project schedule. So they might want to merge that. In terms of the reports, you're able to receive all these notifications on the backups, and you can see if something is off, something is wrong, something is not backing up. But we developed a more visual way to show you the backup status. So these are the governance and administration suite reports. We have 4 reports right now. They are the usage summary, the project backup coverage, the heat map for project backup, and the site backup coverage. Firstly, the usage summary is like an overall report on what's in your G Suite instance. And there it shows you the project's number, the project's limit, the data that you have used, and the limits that you have. Also, you can see all the actions that were started in your G Suite instance. You can filter by status of the action. You can filter by the PWA. You can have the filter by the type of the action. So you can find out when something was done in the instance. In terms of the backup coverage, let me go back to the home screen. So we show you all the projects that you have in the PWA, that you have in the backup, and there we also show you the statuses. So we show you if there are any recent backups. So these are the white lines. And if there are no recent backups, so the backup was taken quite a long ago, it marks the project like non-active project with issues and active project with issues. So the active ones where the finish date is in the future, and you see that the latest backup is done on April 30th. So it was rather long ago, and you may want to look at it. You may want to pay attention to this specific project and make sure it's included in the backup, so that you do not discover that this project is not part of the backup. It was only backed up once in some kind of manual action. You can filter by PWA, by state, by project here, and also there is a heat map. Let me switch to that, and it shows you by breaking down the periods into days. It shows you which projects are part of the backup every week. So there is a period filter, last 7 days, 30 days, and 90 days. And there it shows you, for example, on April 30th, there was a backup that included every project in the PWA, but after that, only some of them were backed up.
President, I would like to add a couple items. The idea with such reports is to show gaps. We want to show all the projects that you have in PWA, and then to show all the information as the backups. So by status, by seeing the project that you did for last 30 days, you can understand can you really if your backup schedule configuration is right, and if you can trust all the data that you have in your environment, that you are protected, that there are no gaps in coverage, that all the work that you need to be that you need to have backed up, you can have it. Right now, for example, if I source the column by last modified date, I immediately will see that projects that were changed recently, they have no backups, and that should be a red, it's a flash alert for administrators and for PMO that something is wrong. Someone need to go and make sure that we have the data, and the data uh, can be can be configured, and that we can use it for that there will be backups, and that we don't have those gaps. Okay, Gennady, I will take over from here, and we'll continue. Thank you for your presentation. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So very quickly, as a summary, we provide the functionality for backup and restore, and you have to schedule it. The backup solution, how we design the G Suite, is definitely not a solution that you really need to use every day, and that's not an intention. Idea is that you schedule your backups and they run automatically, and we did everything, so they run automatically. But at the same time, we provide the functionality for you that if is that you can do the additional checks and to make sure that you have complete coverage. As mentioned, you can schedule backup on the different frequency, monthly, weekly, daily, or you can do the on demand if there is a need for that. You can go down for restore. You can go to single projects or do the bulk of set of projects as well as SharePoint content. Uh, the explained, and it's one of the recommendation definitely to use archival of information. This way you limit what the users can do with closed projects, and you can still run reports because it's in way, and you can use a Power BI to do that. One other recommendation is definitely to use to test your process and reports. So here it's saying that those reports will be available in Q2 2018, and we just released it this month, so last month during May. So those reports are immediately available for all the users, and everyone can use those reports to make sure that they have a coverage, and they have reports, they have backups of projects and sites available. From sales standpoint, we offer a trial of G Suite. So if you're not a customer at this point, please reach out to us and we can start you a trial. Uh, Pricing for G Suite is based on number of projects stored in the backup, and it's a main factor that impacts the pricing, and that's the reason why we recommend for everyone to use the archival feature, because the projects in archival, they do not count on the project in the backup, and using G Suite you can do that archival, so you don't have to back up your thousands of projects when you have only modified this project like 200 projects, and maybe you can all that you need to do is just to pay for that. For large environments and for customers who requires additional level of security, we provide the dedicated instances, and as well as a customer hosted solutions, where you can own the infrastructure, and for dedicate tenant that process only your data. So there are, for all solutions, there is data isolation and encryption and everything. But for some customers decide that they need a customer hosted solution if they have high level confidentiality of the data, and they would like to protect the data, and they have all the policies in place. If you have any questions, feel free to write them, or you can reach out to us. Again, you can solution is available. If you want to use a trial, please reach out and we can help you. We can do a demonstration, and you can run for a while using our trial and see how it works. Thank you for your time. It was a FluentPro with solution for backup and restore of Microsoft Project Online. Feel free to reach out and have a great rest of your day.